Hi there, I am One Doji Dude. Welcome to my scene-by-scene analysis of Episode 4. The droids arrive on Tatooine, they argue, split up, navigate the desert, the Jawas capture them, and the droids reunite. That's almost 6 minutes of screen time. Putting together a compelling story for that long may not sound difficult, but to underestimate the craft of building a scene can result in tons of frustration and, of course, failure. To avoid that, we'll break down this scene to show the thought process that turns rough ideas into a compelling story. We'll focus on 3 major elements: plot, characters, and immersion. In strict plot terms, the purpose of the scene is to get the droids to Luke Skywalker. The easy choice would be for the escape pod to crash near Luke's farm, but it would strain credulity that of all the places on this planet, the droids landed exactly where they needed to be. Besides, such an unbelievable stroke of good luck would rob the characters of a meaningful struggle. Think of Harry Potter finding out he's a wizard. The reveal doesn't land with the same punch if it's not repeatedly denied to him first. Being captured by the Jawas would be enough of a struggle, but the film doubles down by also splitting up the droids. The scene presents 2 major lines of tension, i.e., 2 misbalances that the audience wants to see fixed. For one, will the droids escape the desert? Most times, when characters are stuck in a desolate environment, the driving force of the story is to get them out. The second misbalance is, will the droids come together again? Anytime a story threatens to undo a well-established relationship, the dramatic question always comes down to, will they come together again or grow even more estranged? To the 2 major misbalances, we can add 2 minor ones. What's that vehicle 3PO is waving to, and what are the creatures stalking R2? These last about a minute each, so they're not as important, but they do spice things up with a mystery and a ticking bomb. All the lines of tension are solved within the 6-minute span. The droids are out of the desert and back together. Yes, they are in captivity, but by reuniting them and steering them away from the Empire's clutches, the story creates a small victory rather than dwell on the fact they're both prisoners. The droids' temporary separation also reinforces the story's theme. Ordinary strangers come together to defeat an overwhelming foe. It serves the story well to show by contrast that our characters are better off together than alone. If they're in agreement all the time, then there are no powerful cathartic moments like this to affect the audience emotionally. So, we've seen the story works better if the droids squabble and go off their separate ways. But this must happen organically, not only because the writer needs it to happen. To ensure that, it's a good idea to identify the main source of imbalance in the droids' relationship. R2 is optimistic and has an adventurous streak, while 3PO is pessimistic and shows a more cautious attitude. These are not defining traits, but they are the most likely ones to spark off conflict. It's easier to find the imbalance if you also keep track of a character's traits for the duration of the story. This is what we have for 3PO. Melodramatic.
We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
Talkative, even if it is to state the obvious.
What a desolate place this is.
Childish and petty.
Go that way. You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile. He tricked me into going this way, but he'll do no better.
Argumentative.
Where do you think you're going? Well, I'm not going that way.
And it's in keeping with previous scenes.
We're doomed. There'll be no escape for the princess this time. We'll be destroyed for sure. This is madness. Secret mission? What plans? What are you talking about? I'm not getting in bed.
On the other hand, R2 is determined. While wandering the desert, he makes noises that give the impression he's singing, like a carefree traveler on a country road. Even when he's captured, his first urge is not to cower, but to go out and explore. This kind of list ensures the characters remain consistent and avoid falling into repetition. Now let's concentrate on how the scene draws us into the story. As far as settings go, deserts seem easy enough to handle, but they can get tricky. The intended effect of this desert is clear.
What a desolate place this is.
Which is not to say a desert will automatically feel desolate and hostile. The desert in The Force Awakens, for example, is presented in a way that is more inviting, a postcard picture of sunset colors. Even in the harsh daylight, the setting remains intriguing, with its smattering of shut-down spacecraft. The Jakku Desert is torn between presenting itself as a wasteland or a picturesque place, whereas our glimpses of Tatooine are definitely of desolation. This scene shows sunset colors too, but here they are contrasted with the darkness of the rocks, creating a more sinister, hostile air, which is in keeping with the setting. Even a small touch like the gray clouds here contributes to the feeling of desolation. However, a bleak setting doesn't mean unimaginative. Check out the skeleton, the Jawas, and the sandcrawler. These are all elements of world building. While setting grounds the story in a recognizable location, world building stokes the audience's imagination. A good rule of thumb for judging the quality of a world-building element is to see how many fascinating questions it generates. The skeleton in the dune. What animal was that? Did it actually live in the desert, or was it an animal that got lost? How long has it been dead? What kind of animals even exist on this planet? The Jawas. What do they look like underneath their robes? How can they make a living kidnapping robots in the desert? Is this something all Jawas do? How did they become so adept at handling robots? The sandcrawlers. What is it like inside a giant sandcrawler? Do they have mess halls? Infirmaries? Are they giant houses or just used for transportation? If it sounds like a lot of work, it is. But this degree of world building has enabled Star Wars to remain part of cultural discussions for 30 years and counting. So there you have it. Breaking down a scene is complicated work, but it is also a great exercise to grow comfortable with the craft of telling a story. Expect more analysis in the near future. If you found the video useful, please share it, subscribe, and if you want to help the channel, consider donating through Patreon. This has been one Dodgy Dude telling you, go write a great story.